Oh, we're live now. Woo!
Yeah.
One, two, three into the funk.
Snoop, Stevie, Steve, Dr. Frank is at the dope. All right. Monday night, 8 p.m. You know the deal. You tune in to Detect America. Why? Because I'm here. And why else? Because what's his name over there? That guy Frank. The guy Frank. And welcome to week 2, what I'm going to say.
It's broadcasting.
In what I wanted to do as a 2-part series. If anybody remembers, last week we had Jim Tippett, Jimmy Crossbone Tippett, talked about how he almost drowned, and we just want to
before we get into all the real heavy stuff, I want to tell a real quick story about how we met our guest tonight.
Well, I'd like to introduce our guest, and then I'll let you tell
introduce him, and then I'll tell the story.
Yeah, I was kind of going in there. If you said you want to tell the story, well, then I could let you tell the story. You just let me explain what the frig we're doing here.
Well, you'll have plenty of time.
Oh, we got enough. We don't ever run out of time. We're on my time. So, the water safety thing, and Frank's going to talk about how we met this nice gentleman, Jim Glorioso, who is an actor, producer, who's really in the business, but that's not why he's doing what he's doing. And it kind of goes along with how we met Jim. So go ahead, Frank.
So a couple of years ago, myself and Steve were metal detecting on the beach in Atlantic City, right? Atlantic City?
Yeah.
So, we're rock stars of this big podcast. And across the beach come these two lovely young ladies, and they're walking right towards us. And by the way, you and your buddy, you're married or dating above your pay grade. Just letting you know. So anyway, these two young ladies walk up to me and Steve, and they go, "Are you Frank and Steve?"
No, they recognized me, not you.
Okay, don't listen to Steve. Anyway, the heads swell. Yes, we are. Oh, do you watch the show? Oh no, our boyfriends do. Like, oh, okay.
Their husbands, they were husbands, yeah.
So yeah, we were. Yeah. We thought
and then,
we were guys on the beach.
So they called him, and Jim, and who was with you when you came down and we met? Who was the other man that was with you?
My friend Mike, yeah.
Mike, okay. So they come down on the beach and we're talking, and so Mike is telling, and you know what? I really think it was the 1-year anniversary because your incident happened in 2020, right?
It's 5 years this year, so.
Well, it was either the first year you were there for
2019. 2019.
Okay, so you were there for an anniversary of an incident that happened, and do you want to go ahead and tell us that story?
Yeah. So I would go down to we go down to my wife's birthday on July for so fun, some casino stuff, and I was metal detecting on the beach that morning. It was like around 9:00, and this lady, I was underneath the pier before the storm, I guess, took the pier. So I was underneath this pier, and this lady runs up to me, and she's like, "Hey, somebody's drowning, I think, or they need help." She's like, "Can you go see if there's any lifeguards on duty on the other side?" And so I saw the two people out there, and I wasn't sure, so I went over to the other side of the pier. I didn't see any lifeguards. I came back, and I told her, and when I looked out again, I only saw one person. So what happened was I had grabbed a boogie board that was close because I knew something was wrong at this point, and started paddling as fast as I can. And the short story is basically the father had his at the time 11-year-old son got caught in a rip current, and the father went out to try to save him. And they've been going to this beach for 30 years. The father fishing there. He's been going every year fishing there. And the boy somehow got back, but the father had not. And I ended up finding the dad out there, and now I'm with him on a boogie board, and he was unresponsive. And then we were getting taken out to sea. It was just going. I was getting farther and farther away, and I was like, "Uh-oh, this is not good." I didn't realize at the time that there was no lifeguards on duty at that time, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this project. But
Right.
anyway, so the lifeguards that were coming on duty at 10 o'clock heard the 911 calls coming in, and they had went directly to the beach, and that's why I'm here today. 4 of them had 2. They're big. I don't know what they're called, surfboard style.
Oh yeah.
So they came out. One took me, and one took the other. Mr. Bowie, and he had passed away. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. So, every year we go back to Atlantic City on that weekend, and we do just kind of a tribute trip to, kind of celebrate our life and honor him. And I like to see like what changed, in the area, signage wise, stuff like that. And so then I met you on one of those weekends.
And you felt that he wasn't dead very long by the time you got to him. I mean,
no, they actually, when they got to the beach, he was, I don't know, well, as long as it took me to swim out to where he was, which they said I was about 100 yards out. When they got to the beach, they actually resuscitated him once, and they lost him on the way to the hospital. So
right.
So he almost made it, but it's pretty sad, and then the saddest part was the whole family. He had 3 kids and his wife. They all sat there and watched the whole thing happen.
And they all started, yeah.
Well, that's we like I live in Florida, and don't misunderstand. There's some heavy rip currents that happen here, but people don't realize that in little New Jersey, when those rip currents are at their peak, they're devastating. They'll move boats. It's crazy how strong some of these rip currents can be.
Sure.
And
even for me, I'd never dealt with rip currents before. I don't go in the water. I don't go in like New Jersey, Long Island, like East Coast water. You won't see me step in there. I have to see the bottom. I have to,
that's why I was never a diver in New Jersey Ocean, because I like to see my hand in front of my face.
I have to see what's around me. And so just the fact that I even went out there without thinking of it was pretty amazing, because it was something I would normally not do. But that's after this, looking at it, I realized how much I didn't know about rip currents, that there's an easy way to get out of them. And the fact that the most experienced people out there are losing their lives trying to save others.
That's the thing. Yeah.
The stronger
they try to swim against the current, and they tire, and you'll tire real quick. And
I lived in Jersey for 58 years, and at a point in time we were hitting the beach, 3, 4, 5 times a week, and really, other than seeing a little sign posted here and there was really no education on how bad they are, or how to. I mean, listen, how do nobody stops entering the beach and reads those little signs. I'm sorry, they just don't. There's no.
Well, here's the tricky part of the signs were a huge issue for me, because it's very misleading to people that aren't used to it. And here's what it is: Atlantic City beaches are closed from, I think, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Right?
Right.
They're open at 6 a.m.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah, well, they're open. Well, that's what it's posted, like 10 to 6. They open at 6 a.m., but lifeguards don't come on duty till 10 a.m. Yeah, so there's 4 hours where you got to figure, when you take your family out to a beach somewhere, right? I know my kids, we get to the beach, you got to get there early. Got to get a good spot, right? Got to get your stuff down, make sure, and that's all happening in that, 7:30 to 9 o'clock time frame.
By the time the lifeguards get there, the beach is packed. By the time they show up, the beach is packed with people.
Yes.
I always thought 10 was a little late. So I've been on the beach especially Atlantic City, at closing time. I don't know if it's 5 or 6, but what happens, it's classic. It's always happened.
Everybody out.
The lifeguards will call everybody out. And if they
Well,
come in, you're lucky, right? If you're lucky, they come in. Once everyone's out of the water, then they leave.
yes.
As soon as they leave, everyone goes right back in the water. And it's swim at your own risk.
Yep.
So,
And that's what the towns. That's what Atlantic City. When I contacted, the
beach
government.
patrol. Yeah.
That's what they said. They said that the lifeguards are only on duty from 10 to 6 p.m.
Right.
It's swim at your own risk after that. That's it.
So now, after the incident had happened, I guess, okay, so had you had any contact with the family after everything was said and done?
No, they're Vietnamese, and
right.
I know they were out of Reading, PA, and I had tried to contact them, and they had moved somewhere. I actually was in touch with their school, the funeral home, and their church, and no one knows where the family went. Like ghosts.
This type of incident will haunt them forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. And what you did that day was very commendable. You put your own life at risk, and in hearing stories like this, it's listen, I grew up on the Jersey coast, and I used to swim out there, and I could go out there at 9 a.m. and swim till 6 at night. I'm not in good a shape as I used to be, and
sometimes it happened. There was an incident in Ocean City, maybe the year before I left, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and a gentleman was walking his little kid out onto the jetty, and people were yelling at him, and he's like, "I've been here. I come here all the time."
Yeah.
And the kid slipped off and fell into the water. And there was literally people in that water around that jetty in 5 seconds. And
those jetties are dangerous.
They found them a couple days later. I mean, it's just
once you're under,
that's it.
You're gone.
It's just the same thing. If you don't know, if you hear rip current, and if you've never experienced a real one, it'll blow your mind. I mean, they get so bad where you're in the water to your ankles, and you can feel your feet trying to be pulled out from underneath you.
Yeah, and those waves. Listen, man, some of those waves. Listen, I've been hit pretty hard by some waves, even when I was detecting. And that's why I wanted to bring this to, and especially in 2 shows, why I wanted to bring it to our show, because a lot of things can happen. We've had a lot of detectorists find themselves in some precarious situations, and we've found ourselves helping others while we're out detecting. It even happens on dry land. Matt Kwiatkowski and James Boudreau were out in the field one time, and James had a stroke in the middle of the field. And if it weren't for Matt, the guy...
Luckily, Matt recognized the signs.
Recognized it, called, and got him help. See, so the thing is, they talk about never diving alone. You should always be in pairs. You should have a partner. And almost in a way, you should maybe never really metal detect alone, because even me and Jim were talking on the phone earlier, and we're like, listen, you never know what you're going to encounter when you go out. And it's not just the East Coast of the U.S. This is a countrywide show. We have people watching from Montana, California, Canada, other countries, and other states where they go out in Montana and are gold prospecting. You don't know what's going to come creeping up on you.
Sure.
There's mountain lions. Some states have black bear. I mean, I know I've been up in the mountains in New York and see black bear.
Apparently, Florida really does have alligators. I saw one yesterday.
Yeah, I was amazed you took that picture. There's risks involved, and especially metal detecting, because you're not always paying attention.
Yeah,
you're not always paying attention to your surroundings. You have headphones on. You're carrying gear. You're excited. Oh, I got to get out to this creek so I can start dredging, prospecting, or we got to get out to this part of the woods, and you don't know what's going to creep up on you.
Yep.
It's funny you say that. I had I took up metal detecting on advice from somebody. In 2018, it was a rough year for me, and so I took up metal detecting because someone says very therapeutic, and so and it was you forget all your problems because you're focusing on listening for the sounds, and it's like the casino when you win a slot, you get that excitement, except it's like you're upfront paying for it, and then the stuff you find you don't lose it back. But
Exactly.
So, what you lose you don't get back.
So I get to keep the stuff I actually win. But anyway, so I found myself going on like trips across the country, and more specifically Arkansas. I found a spot in Arkansas, and it's just a little tiny battle. I actually passed it, it wasn't even planned, and I stopped, and this guy had one of those road signs. The battle of Jenkins Ferry was on this land, blah 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 blah. And so I talked to him for a little bit, and it was on a different. I was out for work, and I was like, "Hey, I'd like to come back and would kind of metal detect your land," because he owned like 30 acres on this battlefield. And he's like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "They've been doing it for 30, 40 years, but go have at it, right?" And so I went out into the woods. I went back and I went into the woods. I was by myself, and I'm deep in these. It's this just like Arkansas woods by myself. And at the time, I'm just having a great time. I'm finding bullets. I'm finding things, and then it was until later I realized when I got a little bit smarter metal detecting that I wasn't paying attention to things that were happening around me. And now looking back, I didn't realize how big the snakes were and how poisonous they are in Arkansas, and that I could have got bit and no one would have known where I was or how would I even, you know what I mean? So,
Or
I think every time you go out, you have to set yourself up with some type of communication plan, know where you're going, what the risks are.
let someone know. Even if you fall and break a leg, you break a bone, you can't get back, and you could be. Some guys go off pretty far into the woods, and long hike back.
We're down here in Familyville, USA, and we want to walk on. We detected a beach and weren't getting anything. So Les tells me, because there's a dog beach, a pet beach, right down 100 yards away, and it's beautiful. So we go down there, and you have to walk through this. They have it's overgrowth of stuff. They have like a tunnel that you walk down, and we walk down, and we're talking, and we're dragging, and my headphones are falling off, and and she looks up. I hear, "Oh my God!" And we look up, and we're 5 feet from, a diamondback rattlesnake that's just dying to sink its teeth into me
on the beach. Yeah,
on the beach.
I paid that thing big bucks.
Literally, your head has to be on a swivel anymore, especially if you're going into the woods and things like that. I mean, it's just. I mean, I carried a little first aid kit in my backpack for years, just because you were supposed to have one, and I swear I've had to replenish it three, 4 times because you really do. You use it. You never know what you're getting into.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that day. I didn't expect that to happen. Not for Dave. That's for sure. So, it just shows you that anything.
Yeah,
can happen
absolutely.
It's
never something you expect to happen. It's always something you don't expect to happen.
Now, do you think you'll be coming back to? You think you'll be coming back to AC this year?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we've gone every year since. So
well,
it's already on the plans.
When you come, let me know. Maybe we can make a day, go detect and meet up on a beach and detect a little bit, and
for sure.
Hang out, because I think that's really cool. So now this incident and being in the field of cinema, TV, you told me you're an actor / producer, right? Yeah.
So everybody in the film industry is an actor, a producer, and a writer, and everybody. It's when you can put whatever you want on your resume. No one will ever check it. But I do more acting than producing. I've produced a couple commercials. The producing part's new to me this year. And so I'm on a project as a producer, not my own. And, I'm financing a lot of this project. So, and obviously it's mine. So I'm producing this too. But for the last 5 years, I've learned a lot about the film industry and a lot of connections. So
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah.
You were talking about resumes. Okay. I happen to see Frank's resume and in the world of acting and stuff. And he has something labeled on there that for many, many years he was a fluffer in the industry. Is there any way you can help us? I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, when you told me he was an actor, I looked up his name in the SAG-AFTRA database, and it says banned from acting. So I don't know what he did.
I'm surprised he was even in there.
Listen, I've made my mark. It's time to move on to other things.
You've made your mark, all right. That's yeah. So maybe we can change Frank's resume on that. So go ahead and so proceed with what your project is.
Well, so over the years, I've actually wanted to do this, get the courage to actually finally do it, and I wanted to do a documentary on that day, as well as others, because there are a lot of things there that I think the normal people don't realize when they go to beaches, and like warning signs, what to look for, lifeguard hours, and so the hope is that when this documentary is completed, that we can actually show this in the schools. So it's going to teach the kids about water safety, but we're using
I don't know. You think a producer would have better internet than this?
I know. Yeah, your internet is just cutting in and out. Yeah. You're bad.
I thought it was yours. Oh, I know why. Oh, hold on a second.
Yeah, maybe you're on.
I just
not on
realized
Wi-Fi.
And now he's gone.
And did it cut him? Yeah, because he's probably.
How's that?
I can hear you.
How is that?
There you go.
All right. So let's back up
Yeah.
and talk about your project again. It's better when you're on Wi-Fi, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I didn't realize when I plugged my phone to charge it, it switched it to my phone internet, my hotspot.
Right.
So anyway, what did you hear? Because I apologize. That's terrible. I don't know how much you guys missed.
It sounded like this. It sounded like this, Jim.
So basically, as a result of the incident that occurred in Atlantic City that day, you've decided to go with a project. Tell us what that is.
Yeah. So I'm making this project, this documentary for hopefully for educational purposes in the schools to teach people not just about water safety, but we want to use our story and Blurta Quarry, who's out of Newport Richey, Florida, which is 10 miles from you. She lost her husband last year. Her husband went in to save his friend's son, and he did successfully save his friend's son, but he drowned in that incident. And so we're hoping that when people listen to our stories, that when they go to the beach with their families, they actually feel the pain. They feel like how it can destroy a family, rather than just being taught how to get out of a riptide,
Yeah, exactly. Instead of not just a little yellow sign when you walk on the beach.
Yeah.
You want to bring awareness, dangers on the beach.
Yeah.
And hopefully it could be applied to more than just the beach, because it's true. It's your situation obviously involves the beaches and dangers on the water, but it should be explored, especially in a hobby like this, where first of all, why we all wear camo when we go out in the woods is ridiculous when you're metal detecting, but these things that you encounter so many unknown and unexpected things.
Yeah, you're right. It really can be. It doesn't just have to be a beach. It could be a swimming pool. It could be a pond.
Exactly. I found this swimming hole in the middle of nowhere, and I'm there by myself.
and you're there by yourself, and you can just get stuck. Something can happen. You could maybe be diving and a tree fall, or you get tangled underwater and you're done.
Yeah.
Water's
a powerful thing.
As well as anything. I mean, listen,
water can be very unforgiving.
I worked along the Delaware River for 6 years and had numerous drownings. And the funny thing is, I don't want to say the funny thing, but the strange thing is, none of them knew how to swim. But they all got coaxed into the water.
Sure.
One guy got coaxed into jumping off a bridge. It was probably 30, 40 feet high. They said, don't worry, we'll catch you. He jumps off the bridge and he's done. Another was...
I'll be right back, Steve. I can't even see out of this eye.
Kids hanging on the side of the river. One says, I can't swim. The kid says, I'll teach you. He holds him up and brings him out in the water. And the kid starts freaking out. And the kid lets go of him. And he goes under and he's done.
Yeah.
Another one was a family having a picnic. And 3 kids were on the side of the river. And I think it was the youngest girl got in the water, didn't know how to swim. The other 2 who didn't know how to swim tried to save her. All 3 were done.
Yeah, it's the stories I've heard since I've put this together of people telling me that's how I met Blurta. Actually with her, so her husband and I both received the Carnegie Hero Award.
Okay.
And it's basically the Carnegie Hero Fund. They will award about 15 people every quarter in the North America. And Andrew B. Carnegie put this fund together to award people that selflessly put their lives in danger to help others. And if you go to their website and you could read through the stories of all the people that had received the reward, it's absolutely astonishing how many situations there are out there that people like me lost their lives saving other people, or everybody lost their lives, and it's sad to read. So we wanted to bring awareness to that also, and to some of the people that are those in those families.
Yeah, my thing is they go out there and they go to save their son or anyone. And they save the person gets saved, but they don't. I don't understand how that, in a way, I mean, it happens. And that's why, like I said, I don't know how effective or helpful I can be in those situations anymore. I don't know if I went out in the ocean and got caught in a riptide, if I'm going to be able to help. Or if I'm going to survive, what do you do? You know what I mean?
It's not for everyone. Listen, even people that have the ability to help won't do it because they just don't want to take the risk.
Well, that's on them. I was never trained like that.
I wasn't either. But you were a police officer. You were a police officer, right, Steve?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was also. So we think differently. That's what they say. We're bred to help people, right?
Our mentality is to go into it.
Yeah.
But then when you start to get to a certain age and you're like, I can't even breathe going up the steps. you start to and the one thing they do teach you a lot in law enforcement and firefighting is you don't want to become another victim, because now you've just added to the scenario severity, and now you become the rescuee. You go from rescuer to needing to be rescued, and that takes a lot of thought in it as well, of how you're going to act in these types of situations.
But as retired cops, it's harder not to go in. That's a natural instinct.
I'll always help until I physically can't. That's just the way I am,
Yeah, I know, and it's just the way we are. So now your project, as I posted your video on Detect America.
Thank you.
And you are trying to raise funds for your project.
Yeah, I can self-fund a good part of it, but
right.
The wife will never let me make this my So with these fundraising sites like Indiegogo and what's the big one there?
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe and
Right.
Seed and Spark. Seed and Spark's more for just movies. They were a lot more successful pre-COVID, I think, and during COVID than they are now, because it's hard to raise money. Even like my first film, I raised $40,000 off of GoFundMe, like, to do it. And so this one, I haven't really put it out in my personal too much, but not much response from it. So we'll see. But every little bit helps. Whatever I can get.
As I told you, we definitely want you to promote it on our pages.
Yeah, for sure.
We want to ask that our members be kind enough to donate, whatever you can.
Listen,
which would
$10 is $10 is $10.
Right.
Honestly, it sounds funny, but sometimes you can nickel and dime your way to something that I need.
Right.
But no, it's appreciated. Listen, I know a lot of people are asking for handouts right now. A lot.
And so, what is the name of your project? Is it called Ripped? Is that what you want to?
Ripped Apart.
Ripped Apart.
Yeah.
Is that all, or is it a story of Rip?
That's all for now. I'm kind of struggling to figure out what that tagline is going to be.
Right.
Hopefully, by the time I got this all together, there's the right wording that would go under it. It's not it's normal in the film industry. A lot of films that during filming have a completely different title, and then
a working title, right?
Yeah,
right.
It's for whatever reason. So right now, it's Ripped Apart, and it's a 4-minute video. So even if you just watch it, and you can go to Seed and Spark and just follow it, like you just click on the follow button. Even if you don't donate, that actually still helps me, because Seed and Spark actually looks at followers, and sometimes they'll promote it on their, so it gets me extra exposure. But it's very, very, even though it's a 4-minute video, it's pretty got a pretty good impact. I mean, it packs a pretty good punch.
And it's nothing we've seen. You know what I mean? It's a topic that should be covered, and it really hasn't been.
I did that video on my iPhone, believe it or not. That whole thing, except for the news article. I went down to Jersey a couple months ago, 2 months ago, I think, and I spent just a day or two down there, and then flew out to Newport Richey and spent 2 days out there, 3 days actually. And that's what we came up with. And I was pretty shocked. I was like, this is some pretty powerful stuff. And I couldn't even put most of it in there because we had to keep it under 4 minutes.
Yeah, right, Shannon, right. If we can post, yes, the link was posted. It's posted on the Detect America page by me, and then Jim will probably go back in and plug it in there again. And the funny thing is, we're not the only ones that have metal detecting shows and out there and other shows, and we're on here talking about this. And you know what? In no time, we're going to hear stories of metal detectorists out there now. Summertime, absolutely. We're going to hear stories of either them needing assistance or being there when someone else needs assistance. It's bound to continue. So like I said, I just wanted to put it in the back of people's minds that things happen anywhere, they happen fast, and they can be serious. Yep. And you do have to worry about your own safety first. Think of your own safety before jumping in, but you're going to be there and you're going to help someone no matter what it is. So, sometimes people just cut their hand on glass and you're going to help out.
Right.
But at any time, any place, anything, I can't tell you how many times I've been driving down the road and there's an accident. I'm not the guy that stops and watches. And then nowadays it's people out there with the cell phones.
That's it. Everybody wants to record. No one wants to help.
I'm not that guy,
Listen, the day we walked up on the Diamondback rattlesnake, instead of being smart and backing up, the first thing we did was go for our cameras.
Yeah.
I mean, that's become a dangerous instinct now too. Let's get it on film before we get to
your camera wasn't on Celeste's back, so I don't know why you were trying to reach for your camera.
Celeste's camera, because my back was to her running the other way.
Yeah, that's what it was. You were running away.
I figured I just accidentally threw her towards the snake while I ran.
Yeah. No, don't get me, Mr. Snake. I know that's you, man. That's what you do.
that incident, until you go through it, something like that, it changed my life because the one thing I realized was that's when I realized like it could be over any second. Like
Absolutely.
you have to enjoy life. Like you can't.
Sure.
You have to take breaks with your family and spend time with them and do things. Go to places that you've always wanted to do because it really
You have to
it's just
appreciate it.
it's nuts that it could be over that quick. And I
It's
never
not.
actually thought about that until that time when that happened.
I can't tell you how many times I'm on the beach, right? And there's kids, I don't know, little kids in the water, and their parents are up sitting pretty high. There are a couple of times I've had to tell some parents, yeah, the water's a little rough today. You might want to be careful
Mm-hmm.
because it's tricky. You go to the beach, you see waves, especially the Jersey Beach. You see waves. And for someone who's visiting from central USA that doesn't understand how to read the water and incoming and outgoing tides, and their kids, your kid might be out a little far. You may want to bring them in today because I know that the beach can be, when the beach is rough and when it's not.
Right. Absolutely. If you figure if we've never, if we don't see the education of the classes, the education on rip currents, do you think the Indiana dude has?
Right. And
Yeah.
because Frank, you and I, we see it. Our whole lives have been on the
Exactly.
Jersey Shore, and we've gotten pounded by waves.
Yeah.
These people, they come and they're like, "Oh, we're at the Jersey Shore for vacation," so they start to have fun, become complacent. The kids,
Sure.
first thing they want to do is run into the water, and I've seen kids, in places maybe they shouldn't be, but
I'll tell you.
and our lifeguards, we got good lifeguards around here. But listen, a lifeguard, it's not always a rescue. It's rarely a rescue. It's usually a recovery.
Yeah, they when I sat with them, like I have a guy that gives me stats and stuff. The Atlantic City Beach Patrol, they're nice, but they're understaffed and funded. And he was telling me, he said that those guys have to put out the signs, like the signs on the beaches. It's not like DPW or anything. So like he's like every time a storm comes through, those signs just rip right off. He's like, then we got to go through the whole process of asking for more money to buy the signs. Then we got to all put it out there, and then they're only working 10 to 6, and they're short staffed. And so there's a lot of times where there's no signs there because they just don't have the time or the funding to get them out there. So
I always talk to our lifeguards, especially wherever there's lifeguards at. I'm always, telling them, just saying hi and we appreciate them and all, because, especially Jersey, that we have a lot of lifeguards up and down our coast, but the fact of the matter is you should, and I'm the same way. I don't care if there's a lifeguard. I'm swimming anyway. I got to admit, there's been times, there's no lifeguards and we're out, when I was younger, we're out there swimming and whooping it up.
Don't realize is, especially when you're dealing with some of these rip currents, it doesn't matter how good of a swimmer you are. If you don't know how to respond to a rip current, you can be an Olympic swimmer. Guess what?
Yeah.
You're not.
And the funny thing is,
I'd be dead right now if I didn't take that boogie board. No joke.
Right.
I truly would be.
So yeah, you found the water was pretty rough and you were having a hard time.
I remember seeing the skyline because I was in the swells.
Right.
And I'd see the casinos disappearing and reappearing. And I'm holding on to this guy and I'm like, I'm going to die.
And you were down, I'll tell you what, you were down by Steel Pier, right? Because that's where.
Right in front of Oceans.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You know why? You know why it's rough there? That's the inlet, man. That is right.
Yeah, right.
Right off the inlet.
Yes. Yep.
And when that water's coming in and out of that inlet, man, that is some rough, nasty stuff.
They were telling me that all of their deaths, I think, in the last couple of years, have all. What he said was they were all when their lifeguards were off duty, not when
And that's the thing. Tim Lynch had a really good point. Like, no, the lower income people, they're not paying $20, $25 to park. They're not paying $6 an hour, and they're not paying the beach fees. They're coming after hours.
Yeah.
and the
Well,
nature of
yeah,
the beach, there's no lifeguards there.
we do the same thing as metal detectors.
Well, yeah, but that's
We,
different.
a good metal detector in Jersey never pays for parking or a beach tag. We are the cheapest people you can imagine in Jersey. We ain't paying for parking and we ain't paying for beach tags. We get out there before the tag people come on. I want to come on at 9. We're there. We're looking
We're
at our
hiding.
watch. 8 o'clock. Got to be there before 9. We get on there. We ain't paying for none of that. And I'm sure other people have that same.
Sure.
You know, hey, if it's $5 to be on the beach and you got a family of 6, man, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, you're right.
And then to pay parking, I always said that it costs so much money for a family just to get to the beach. Or let's say you live near me, I live an hour away from Atlantic City. So now I'm going to take me and my family of 4. So there's 6 of us. We get in my car. We got to pay for the gas. Okay. I don't know if you notice the price of gas anymore, but you're paying a lot. Tolls are what, like $7-8 to get there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So gas plus $8. Then you get down, you finally make it into the shore town, and parking is expensive. I don't know how long you're going to stay there, but I'm going to say at least $10 for a couple hours, if not more.
Yeah.
If not more. Go to Ocean City and try in the summer and try and find a parking lot for less than $20.
Oh, $20. Yeah, $20 to get in a parking lot. Okay.
You know, I pay $1,000 a day to park there at Atlantic City.
Yeah. Yes, you do. And you do it right from the card table. So now I don't even know if beach fees are $5. They're $6, $7, and $8. So
they were $5 the last time I was there 2 years ago.
So if you got 6 people and it's $8, it's $48 just to walk on the beach. So you've now spent well over $100 just to put your feet on that sand.
Yeah.
If you can save $48 on beach fees by going a little later, you're going to do it, you know, and you can't keep the kids out of the water. Oh no, kids, you got to wait. You can't keep the kids out of the water.
No, they're going to go in anyway.
Yeah, and they do have now in regards to the rip currents. Now, I do see a lot of signs. Rip current warning, rip currents. They explain what to do. You know, and that's all well and good.
We've seen them actually close the beach because of the rip currents, but that's when the lifeguards are there.
Sure.
That's all well and good that you sit there and read the sign, but when you're in the water and you don't know what's going on or what's happening, you know, you don't react.
Yeah, no, you're right. The education is really the best thing you can do, and I don't think there's enough of it. There's actually a assemblyman in New Jersey, Tom Keene, I think his name is. He's been pushing for water safety training in the public school districts for I think 2 or 3 years now.
It just makes sense.
But that's another thing. Like I said, the people I've seen drown did not know how to swim.
Yeah.
I did not know there were so many people in this world that do not know how to swim.
Yeah, a lot.
And that tiny little state's got 125 miles of water line from the bay up to the top.
Where's
that? Not all of it's covered by lifeguards. There's a lot of it that doesn't have any lifeguards whatsoever.
Yeah,
you got a little tiny state that is that basically 100% of its of its one side is shoreline. Why wouldn't you have some kind of water safety program in the schools?
Yeah. But to Steve's point earlier, there are a lot of the stories, if you read them for the past 5 years that I read, all the stories in New Jersey, they're all people coming in for vacation. They're all people that are not normally in areas where they have beaches. A lot of Pennsylvania people lost their lives on the Jersey shores. Right. And they're just not, they have that much, you know, like I talked to my friend about this. He's like, oh, just common sense. You would go there and think about this. Well, really, it's not, because most people aren't going to there and thinking immediately when they walk on the beach, okay, let me find the signs. Let me look for the lifeguard. You know what I mean? Like people like me and Steve would, because we're trained to like observe our you know, but like
it's their paradise. It's their paradise. It's their vacation. It looks beautiful. It looks nice. The waves look great. Yeah. And you don't know it till you get out there and you get nailed by one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm telling you, I've gotten messed up on some waves out there, you know.
Well, then you come to a place like Florida, which listen, they have lifeguards. Their lifeguard stands are a quarter mile or more apart.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
That water.
they're not like Ocean
That's the
City,
West
Atlantic
Coast.
City, where we have them. I mean, these guys are a good distance away from each other. There's lots of room in the middle to go out there and
Yeah, the West Coast of Florida is just gorgeous and like a bathtub in a way.
That's
That was my first time. That was my first time going to the West Coast. I'm supposed to be going there in like 2 or 3 weeks. We'll
It's
see what
beautiful.
happens. But there's a cool thing that the Atlantic City Beach Patrol got last year. They're going to get more. So then they have these drones that carry flotation devices.
No
Mhm.
And
kidding.
so now they have the access to fly the drone out over someone that's having trouble or that's getting pulled out and drop the flotation device, and then as soon as it hits the water, it expands.
It expands, yeah.
So that's like a huge thing. And when you have lifeguard stations that are so far apart, that's going to be a great tool. But
Yeah, for sure.
you're still 2, 3, 4 years away from getting the amount of equipment and the money and the training from it actually being, realistic to where they can actually truly use it properly. But it's a start, I guess.
It's a good prevention is the key for anything, and if you can prevent it from happening, then that's key. But like I said, there could be a sign that says rip currents right here. A little kid ain't gonna read it, and then like I said, they just get pulled out real quick. So again,
our whole goal is this video. Like when you watch that 4-minute video, you just saw how impactful it was.
Yeah.
You know what? If we have a 30-minute video and it's like out there on YouTube, and it could be like, just, hey, kids sit down. I want you to watch this before we head out to New Jersey next week.
And you did promise I get the role of Hasselhoff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will be on the beat.
If Hasselhoff carried an anchor around with him in video,
I will jump out of the lifeguard stand. Me and what was her name? BJ?
Pamela
Anderson, whatever her name was. She'll be my co-star, and I'll save the day.
So yeah, we only have to cover you for about 10 feet, right? And then you're done.
I don't even know if I'll make it up into the guard stand. Yeah. Not even 10 feet. Well, no, then my stunt double will take in.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Right. I need a stunt double to perform.
Yeah, but the Kool-Aid dude isn't available, so I'm sorry.
Well,
yeah.
When I come down to go shoot Newport Richie, I'd love for you to come over and hang out.
Let me know when you're down here.
Yeah.
And when you're in Jersey, dude, I want to come down and see you again.
Yeah. I'm hoping to have this wrapped up by August, if possible. That's my timeline. So I won't have it for this year, unfortunately, because a lot of September is really the season of deaths.
Yeah, right.
Labor Day weekend.
I can't tell you. You know what it is? I can tell you this. September is when the water starts to get rough.
And half of the lifeguards go back to school.
They're gone.
Their staffing is down even more.
Right. There was one time I can think right now, the current was so strong. We shouldn't have been out there. We were out there and it was just going sideways of the beach, just going sideways. I mean, that was 20, 30 years ago, probably. I couldn't go out there today. It gets rough in September and the water's still warm. So people are in it. People are out there in it. So,
yeah.
But
I'm curious. I know you have access to the online. I'm curious if anybody watching has ever been caught in a situation or.
Oh, there's a bunch of people posting. If you want to go back into, like I said, we're tonight. If you notice, I'm broadcasting on Facebook with my cell phone. So I hope everyone could hear it real well. And that it was successful because we're having problems posting on Facebook. But if you go to YouTube, Jim under Detect America, there's a lot of stories in the chat of what we talk. There's a lot of chat going on. Unfortunately, we can never really see. Me and Frank are boobs. I can't sit here and watch the chat and interact that way. There was a lot of stuff going on, and sometimes we'll catch something, and sometimes most of the time we don't. 90% of it is they're making jokes about me. So whatever you see is,
Boy, I feel bad now. I couldn't believe it. I hope the first part of this was
No, it was fine. In the part that got garbled, you covered again. So
Oh, good. Okay, just that little part. So what else?
So there's someone here saying a drunk guy fell into the shore when he was detecting at night one time. So they, he had to call. He called. I guess he called 911. There's just a lot of stuff, lot of posts in here that I, So
it is definitely a topic that you don't ever think about, but when you start talking about it, everybody comes out of the woodwork and like,
where there's water.
Right.
I mean, 20 years as a cop in Vineland, how many times we don't have a lot of water. We have a blue hole here. We have a little pond. And
that's the thing. That's the thing, Frank. They're out in the woods.
Every year.
They go out in the woods. They start barbecuing. They go in the water, not knowing how to swim, and next thing you know, they find out that they're over their head.
Exactly.
That's
or they imbibe a little bit and then try and swim.
Well, but the thing is, they think they're safe in a lake, and next thing they know, they're out over their head, and it's going through. But Jim, I want to thank you. Please use our page, post anything you want.
Thank you.
Feel free to keep in touch. If you need a place to stay when you're in Port Richey, go to Frank's house.
Okay.
It's here.
He'll gladly take you in, and he makes the coffee for you in the morning. So
I can't beat that.
No, I didn't. I'm like, hey Frank, well, yeah, I want to make a cup. I'll get it for you. Okay, that's
how loud do you snore, Jim? That's the biggest problem. Apparently, when people come down here to stay, they bring their snore with them.
My wife swears I snore, and I have proof it's her.
You've got nothing on me and the fellow member Matt. After when we went down there in February, we had snore wars. We both wanted to kill each other.
My foundation cracked while they were here.
So,
I'll certainly make both of them a trip. I'll definitely be there in July. I may be in Newport Richey in a couple of weeks, and I want to build in a metal detecting day for each trip. So I will let you guys know.
Yeah, guaranteed. So,
and I appreciate thanks to everyone, even just taking the 4 minutes to watch it. It's just even the views help. So.
Yeah, and please consider making a donation, no matter how small.
Cool.
Yeah, post whatever funding site you have. Put it up there, and
yeah, it's that link. So it's called Seed and Spark. Just click on that link that you put up. I'll put it up again.
Yeah, put it up again, and so anyone can friend you up as well.
Sounds good.
Under your name. Put it up there, and they can also friend you up too. So
Shelly Williams, how do we get the names off of YouTube to do a wheel?
What?
All right, so we'll say goodnight to Jim, and then we'll work on that.
Yeah.
We do giveaways. Jim, thanks again, buddy. Good night, folks. Jim Glorioso, thanks for being with us, and again, we really appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you. No, thank you for letting me do this.
Absolutely, bud.
Bye.
Have a good night. I knew you were going to try and skew the story of how the women ran up to me.
Well, I mean, they may have mentioned your name. I'm not sure.
Yeah. You're the big guy from the show. Yeah, I'm the big guy. Where's the little guy at? Where's the little guy? No, interesting. Very interesting. Shelly says she's going to send them to me. So,
beautiful.
I don't know how she's going to. I guess she'll do that, and then I don't know.
There is a tool on YouTube to do it.
Yeah, you're a tool.
I know, and I'm on YouTube.
You should have thought about this before.
Yeah, listen, I'm so busy all the time.
I think I just saw. Oh my God, did Don Wendt just post great interview? Did somebody we better call 911 and get the paramedics out to Don Wendt's house immediately. We better get. He might be suffering from a stroke or something. So, that I don't believe I'd ever read that. How funny.
I actually got out. Me and Celeste got out detecting yesterday for like 8 hours, and living proof that hard work and long hours detecting pays off, because I am now about $1.17 richer than I was when I went out.
So I got to tell everybody this story. So today before the show, I call Frank. And I go, we always talk about the show and what's going on. And Frank's in his car, and I said, so that's odd. I didn't expect you to be in your car. I mean, I didn't expect him to be in a car. He goes, we went to the store, and
We're gonna have a barbecue.
we were going to have a barbecue. He says, we bought everything. We were going to have a barbecue. We bought burgers, dogs.
Yeah, we bought buns,
Oh, buns. Yeah.
condiments, potato salad. We're making potato salad. I was making some stuffed mushrooms, the whole 9 yards. And then we got home with all this stuff and starting to prep. And I asked Celeste, I said, what exactly are we going to make the burgers out of? Because we never got burger meat.
Yeah, and he goes, I'm going back to the store to get hamburger meat. I don't think so. Shelly only sent me like 15, 16 names, and they're coming in every other post. I can get the ones off of Detect America. Let's see if I can try this. I usually do this on my laptop. That's the one thing that's a problem, is doing it on my tablet. Well, they popped up. So tomorrow, I don't know if I'll pop on and do it. See, we don't have very many names. I don't know if I'll pop on and do a live, but I'm going detecting with my good friend Rich Fonts, and maybe we can.
Shelly said you can't do it on your phone.
I know. No, I'm not. Random wheel. Let's see what the heck this is called. Wheel decide. I could find there's something. Wheel of names. I got it. Yeah. So me and Rich. You know what? It was so nice today in Jersey that we're gonna go hit the beach tomorrow. Take a walk. It's rare that we're gonna find anything, but we might just get out and goof around. And now maybe for a test, maybe I will push Rich in a rip current.
I'm going to say, make sure Elaine sends him with his floaties.
Oh, so Elaine is going on like a trip somewhere.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like she's going out for the day. I noticed Shelly and Dawn's name is the first name she sent. So she's going out for the day. So me and Rich will be out having a good time. All right, we got some names. I got a little bit of wheel. I got to apologize if I missed your name, but
I want to mention, guys. Okay, so all the auction stuff is out, and I have to tell you guys that if anything gets shipped on the Friday down here, it's not leaving this city until Monday. So just so you know, all the stuff is out, and I actually have a couple things that didn't get given auctioned off. So.
All right, so here's the deal. We're going to have to give a lot of. Maybe there won't be a time limit on this because I got YouTube going and Facebook. So the 1 minute deal. Oh, she just did it again. All right, so there's 3 more names I think I can add. A couple more. She's killing me. Like every 5 seconds, I get a different text. Can't forget Jimmy Crossbones. He was in.
I saw Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in. So let me add some names. Add those names. I'm trying, folks. It ain't easy doing this.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. This whole new thing with Facebook is killing me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that by using my cell phone, that people were able to watch. That people were able to watch and hear properly, because I basically just set it up. I'm just trying to check for some names here. That if I didn't get your names, I'm sorry. Frank will just have to send you a trip to somewhere. A free trip.
Trip to where I saw that alligator yesterday.
See, I'm seeing names that.
Ah, Steve, if you click the three dots in the chat up in the corner, you will get all the YouTube participants.
Three dots, participants. Aha. Yeah, I got them all.
Look at that.
Yeah.
How about that?
4, 6, 8, 10. But it's only giving me 12 names, and I know there was more. I knew there was. I know there was
Yeah,
more.
I saw the numbers too.
I got more. She sent them all to me. So, what are you giving away?
I got. You're gonna do one or couple?
You, whatever you want. You got
I
them
say
all.
we do one nice one.
Okay.
So we're gonna start off with.
And you don't have to answer within a minute. We're just going to give it to a winner.
I got a 77 proof set.
Oh,
I got a trifecta.
there we go. Compliments of the Gold Digger.
Still in the Ronnie the Gold Digger sleeve. And
Oh, you're slapping a Morgan in there?
no, it's a round, copper round.
Oh, copper. Okay.
Yeah, Morgan copper round. I found that. Celeste actually found a bunch of stuff cleaning the back room today.
Of course, because it was probably at the bottom of your truck. All right, we're going to pick one name.
Celeste did a hell of a job. I couldn't believe it was the same room.
Yeah, I believe it. I know you get lost going from room to room in your house.
I was tripping over stuff.
All right, so the winner of this, wow, it's going to be Ian Aiken, Akin. Now, Ian, since we're, anyone wants to let him know he won, but it's going to be his
responsibility. I know he's here. I'm looking at his name. He did post.
Oh, he's here. Okay.
He's here. I got him. So, all right, Ian, PM me your info, buddy. It's going out to you tomorrow.
Yeah, so good. Congratulations. Yeah, like I said, I was pretty passionate about that topic.
It's a good topic.
Yeah, it's something that like is necessary. I mean, you just gotta always be thinking. You become complacent. You're walking around with headphones on. Something can happen to you, or something can happen to someone else while you're there. I'll tell you, it don't look too bad. My phone don't look too bad on Facebook taking the video.
I checked in on a couple times. It looks all right.
Yeah, you're a little washed out, little washed out on the screen. I like I said, I just hooked the phone up and went to town. So, what else is going on in your life? Anything?
Not a man. We have right now. We have a mad rush on Aquatex. I've been building Aquatex like they're going out of style. And Ugly Box actually too. I just got a big order for Ugly Box too.
Yeah, we got to give a shout out to Yamil and Leilani. What's the name of the business? Digging It
Detectors.
Digging It Detectors out of Cocoa Beach, Florida.
Cocoa, not Cocoa Beach. Cocoa.
Excuse me. Yeah, Cocoa Beach, and don't let me out of Cocoa, Florida. Listen, I want to tell you something. They are the greatest people in the world. Nicest people in the world. However, Yamil kind of wouldn't let me steal anything from his shop. Like, yeah, listen, I snuck in there. I always tell the story, but it's so funny because I had snuck in there one day. I went there one day, and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go in." When I went in, there was no one around, and I'm like, "Oh man, look at all these! I could maybe jack something. Maybe it's appropriate a metal detector. You know what I mean?
Appropriate, yeah."
And as I'm reaching up on the wall, I'm in there. I'm looking. I reach up on the wall. I'm here, Steve. He had caught me. He was in the back.
They were watching the camera in the back.
Oh, they were. They knew. They knew exactly what I was doing. But I'm understanding that they're really pushing the Aquatex, which
they've been ordering Aquatex like every week. This is the first time that we actually got behind because we ran out of speakers. Literally ran out of speakers, and I order 100 at a shot. So
I was talking to someone, and they're like, they're the best. And honestly, I didn't solicit this, nothing. He goes, they're the best headphones I ever heard. You had actually sent a pair to the Mind Lab Repair Center to have them put on the Excalibur.
Excal.
because the XCal, the headphones are hardwired, so there's no plug. You don't plug them in,
Yeah.
so they had to be hardwired. And loves them. God loves them. God loves them. So a lot of kudos I always hear. And from what I understand, he's broken a few pair. He said and I have yet to break any.
Yeah. Well, we again, there's accidents happen, and I repaired a couple of them. I just repaired a pair for our good friend Tim Lynch. Um,
That's
but
who was telling me. He's telling me he broke, and I'm like, listen, I've been trying to break these things and I can't.
but yeah, that thing they generally hold up really really well.
Yeah, they do, and the sound quality on it, man. Like all right. So Elaine had bought a pair, and I brought him back. Oh, so I brought him back from Florida for her, and I brought him to her house one night, and I like, listen, let me put them on the machine because she's got an Equinox, and at maximum volume on the Equinox, you will blow your ears apart, and it's bad enough she can't hear as it is. She can't hear and Rich don't listen. Or no, it's the other way around. Rich can't hear and she don't listen. Whatever you tell her. And I did see she was watching tonight, so I didn't have to stop the show to, make sure Elaine's watching. But yeah, I get to goof off with Rich tomorrow, so it's always fun. We always have fun.
Yeah, that's cool. It'd be fun.
Yeah,
Keep an eye on him around the surf.
He gets lost. I've heard stories out. She looks up and he's gone. Those two are quite a pair. So, and nothing. That's it. 9:07.
I'm gonna go eat.
I'm gonna go relax and
We're gonna do our barbecue tomorrow.
Oh, you didn't even get to do it?
No, well, to be completely honest, I forgot there was a show until you called me. So I was getting ready to come home and start, clean off the grill and start grilling, and then you called.
Yeah, Elaine is saying they worked great.
Good. I'm glad, Elaine. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, you can't beat that. I'm looking right now. I've got my Legend and my Equinox here, and Aquatex on each. And then when we get off the show, I'm going to go in the other room and get my Deus for tomorrow. And they got every machine I have has Aquatex. I
can tell everybody. I mean, we've been, submersibles have been built the same for 35 years.
And if you remember, I think my gripe was one of the integral parts of the machine is, nobody likes to wear wired headphones. And I realized the reason why no one likes to wear them is because they pull the coil would pull them. They actually pull the headphone off your ear. And the new design of the wire was mostly for me bitching because
fantastic.
I said I want the wire long enough that and coiled the way it doesn't pull your headphone away, and that's not the case. The wires are long enough, and the connectors. I said the connection, and it's not no fault of Frank's, but if he had to solder every one of those connecting wires on there and stuff, that's where they break. So when you guys developed,
and that's how we had to do it when we were testing them.
That part, when you were testing them, you were making
we were making the cable. Yeah.
How do I put it? They're formed in foam, where that to me was always the part that broke. Was where the connector was. Come you wiggling the wire, and they always broke there. What else was it? One other thing? Jeez, I forget. But that was one of the biggest parts. The two parts that I wanted to see come out of the wires, because it really don't feel like you're wearing a pair of wired headphones because the wires are just long enough. The coil. So, that's the thing. I think, don't I still have like prototypes on my CTX?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
they were the first ones that we were testing out. They were actually just filled with resin. They weren't actually built the way we're built them now.
They still, it was like, here, go break these. And I don't think I could. So, and the ugly box, you just can't, the
ugly box keeps going and going and going.
And going and going. And yeah, so good show.
There's going to be a couple small changes to the ugly box, just mostly aesthetic. It's just a couple of different things, and
that's fine.
Make a few changes to it.
Like we said, digging it, detectors, out there in Cocoa, Florida. Great people. If you're ever in the area, just stop in and see them because they're just nice. They're nice.
Yeah, good people down there. All right, I'm going to wait.
Yeah, as long as nobody has anything else, man. I hope my Facebook broadcast went. I see Debbie McAdams is out there and Carolyn Cowling, my two great friends. Can't wait to detect with them soon. So just want to say hi to everyone, and we're out. Just get me out. You know what? Just let me talk and then just pull the rug out from underneath me. You might as well.
All right, I'm going to end the stream. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
All right, man.